Okay. Okay. I think we're live. Alright. Can I get I need to check some stuff first. Ow. Maybe I should have done this first. Yeah. Okay, let me just do that real quick. Ow. Okay, I think that sounds alright. Things seem to be going alright so far. Let me just make that smaller. It's kind of annoying. Okay. Okay, so we are here. Hello everyone. So we're here live for this special stream. We reached 300 subscriber our channel. It's been 1.5 years since we started making videos, and a bit longer since we started keeping up the website and other stuff. It's been quite an interesting ride so far. We've made quite a few videos touching on pretty much everything around anime, and we had a good response. So, and that's what's been really keeping us going. Really, it's been quite surprising to have such a good response from people, and we had quite a bit of views. So we're getting along. We're getting these subscribers, and we're growing. And we're looking forward to getting more, growing more and more, and being able to do more videos. And also because it's actually quite difficult to keep the website and doing the videos at the same time, because I also do other stuff, of course, in real life. So it's kind of difficult to keep up all that stuff and make the videos. That's why we can't have like a release schedule that's quite consistent. We take breaks every now and again because things get in the way. But and the website, it's been hard to keep up with the website, but I try to write some stuff from there here and again so far, but it's been tough. But yeah, we what we'll be doing today for this special stream is going through some anime news first, and then I want to look over some past videos and prediction stuff that I did and see how my rate is basically. And have a look at the website as well because I did some stuff there. So yeah, I'm just here in this website. It's this person, he has, this is basically just a website he uses, and he publishes a lot of anime news. So he's kind of a news aggregator. So, and he's a leaker as well. He posts news that aren't officially released yet. So we will be just going through some news that he posted in the last week or so, especially because it was the Jump Festa yesterday. So there's a lot of new stuff. So he doesn't just do anime. So this is the first thing related with anime, and it's about Blue Exorcist. Blue Exorcist is getting a new anime series. Not really sure. So yeah, this is just. I'm just gonna mute it. So it's not really a trailer. It's just a PV of sorts with still images. This is just Blue Exorcist again. I'm not really sure why they're doing this again. It's it's kind of not bad, I guess. It's a new series for, it had 3 seasons, I think. It's kind of weird to see this coming back again, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Not something I would probably watch either way though. And the other announcement that we had in Jump Fest, I think, as well, was Spy X Family had a movie announced and a second season. The second season will be next year, and the movie I guess is also for next year. And they released this this image. So there's no real PV of the film. It's just this Eiga Kani. Yeah, go see the movie. Yeah, Eiga Kani Odekeke. I haven't been watching this series actually, but it's been getting quite a lot of attention, so I might check it out eventually. But I'm quite busy at the moment, so I haven't had a lot of time to watch too much anime recently. Um, but yeah, let's move on to the next one. Um, this is game stuff. This is also some sort of collab, not anime related. Oh, the other anime related thing we had is a Black Clover. Oh, the video is not available. The Black Clover new film. The film will be releasing, I think, next year in March. Yeah, March 31st of March, and it'll be on Netflix for worldwide. Worldwide. It talks about the series here. The video is unavailable for some reason. Did they take the film down? The trailer down? But it's a film. I think it's an original story, so it's not related to the manga. It's not that unusual anymore for anime series to have movies that are not related to the content, especially after you had so much successful anime films recently. Obviously, the recent one was you had Jujutsu no Kaisen, you had Kimetsu no Yaiba. The latest One Piece film also did really well. And there was of course Boku no Hero, My Hero Academia as well had a recent film, and so they're trying it on with Black Clover, even though the anime has been gone for quite a while. I think at least a year so far. So maybe the film, if it does well, it might revive the TV anime series. Yeah, not really looking forward to this. Actually, I'm not a big fan of Black Clover. I'm also not a big fan of My Hero Academia. I have a video in the works about comparing these two series, and I actually probably like Black Clover better than the other one. Okay. But yeah, let's move on to the next news then. Just close all that stuff. Um, the other big news we had, no, this is just something related to Boruto. Apparently, they're making like an Sasuke related series from January. It's like it'll be within the Boruto anime. They'll have like a Sasuke focused like part basically. Let me just open the Twitter. So yeah, this is not that interesting. Yeah, Naruto is kind of being humbling along with its popularity, kind of declining for Boruto. But it's not bad. But it's not something I really enjoy or really actually watch. And obviously, we also have going down here. We have the second season of Jujutsu no Kaisen is confirmed for July, July next year, and they released the trailer. Probably should avoid caps. I don't want to get copyright. But yeah, this the first season of this anime it was in 2021, was it? It did really well. I was a bit surprised, but I think the style it has a very interesting style, very cool style. It's made. I think it's a Shinjuku, quite popular. So it's kind of very trendy at the moment in Japan. The film also did quite well. They really like the boys in this series. The men are very cool looking, so it has a lot of fans that are really thirsty for the male characters. But yeah, that was an interesting. We already knew we had the second season coming, so it's just about the date. Um, me just go down, scroll down, get some older stuff. No, that is an anime really. Of course, we had the Pokemon news as well. Just yesterday, Ash, or Satoshi, if you watch the Japanese version, is actually going to be retired, or at least he's not going to be the main character of the new series focused on the new region, Paldea, in April. So these two are going to be the main characters, and they'll have Pikachu, I guess, is going to be thrown out, and he'll be the main character, the main Pokemon from that region. And you have these two kids, and yet Ash Satoshi is basically the last 4 months from January to April is going to be like a last arc, finishing off Satoshi as a character, and Pikachu, his partner, basically finishing off his era as the Pokemon main character. Basically, it'll be interesting. Pokemon was definitely one of the first anime I watched as a kid. That was the case for many people because it actually aired on Open TV, and you watched it because there was nothing else to watch. And of course, I also played the games and all those things. So obviously, I have a big attachment to Satoshi or Ash, and it's kind of fair. It's kind of a big move to actually change him now. But of course, the Pokemon anime is not doing so hot anymore in TV ratings, so I guess they're trying to mix it up a bit. But it seems a very radical move as well, because you could easily just keep him there and just keep doing the same thing until it basically dies off. But no, they decided to change it up, which might work. I don't think it will. It'll be interesting to see nevertheless. So that was Pokemon related news, and people were all like very nostalgic. People will be nostalgic after Satoshi's gone. A lot of people are commenting that this is like at the end of an era. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So now we have some more game stuff. The big announcement that we had, obviously, is so the next big announcement that we have is okay, it's Monster number 8. Or I think they don't translate Kaiju, so it's Kaiju number 8. That's the official name of the series. So this is a very big manga at the moment in Japan. It's doing real big numbers in sales. It's close to Spy X Family basically. So it's a very popular manga, and its story is basically this: the main character. This is the main character, and he becomes like a kaiju after strange event. His name is Kafka as well, which is kind of like a reference, I guess, to Franz Kafka, which is kind of interesting, even if, to be honest, it's nowhere near. I don't think this is nowhere near as good as Kafka to be even referencing it, but it's interesting. It's very action-packed. It's Production IG, a good studio as well, so it's definitely gonna look really good. But I don't particularly find this series too good. It's a lot of action, but it's kind of mindless action. It's not very kind of good, the story or the characters really, but it's enjoyable as a light but more action-packed series without much thought into it. So, but yeah, this series will definitely be a big hit, and it's set for 2024, so it's kind of a long while away. So next we had that's not anime related. This is not anime related as well. Let's see the news. What else do we have? Older news. No, that's, oh yeah, this is big news as well. Uh, he didn't include the trailer. open on YouTube. So yeah, the other big announcement that we had recently is that Akira Toriyama's, I mean, I think this was his last work, his last manga was Sandland from 2000, I believe. It's only 7 chapters long, so it's a very short manga. It's only 1 volume. Basically, it was a 1 volume standalone series. It's getting animated. We are not sure what sort of animation this will be. If it will be a series or a film. It just says a screen adaptation, which is basically just some sort of animation. And yeah, I don't have much to say here. This trailer looks kind of game-esque, PS4, PS5 like game. It doesn't look like an anime because it's kind of a CGI mixed with 3D style that you see in Japanese games. It doesn't look particularly great. Sunrise is a good studio, but they're working with some other studios, Anima, and so I'm interested to see what this will be. I don't think this is going to be a TV anime series, but also as a film, it also seems a bit odd. So maybe some original video adaptation that's going to be on Netflix or something. I do like Akira Toriyama's work. I like his art. His art's probably the most iconic manga art I have ever seen. I don't think One Piece is anywhere near as iconic in the art style as Dragon Ball or Doctor Slump. So yeah, this will be set for next year, but we're not sure what it is. So that will be quite interesting to see. Interesting to see as well. To be honest, I thought it would be a game adaptation, a game-like version of it, not some sort of animation. So that was quite surprising. So here we have another, and something else that was announced. Okay, yeah, I'm covering just anime news at the moment. I'll have to go to Weibo to cover some Donghua news. But yeah, I'll see if I can look for that. But I'm just covering these last few Jump Festa news basically. Oh, they didn't put the trailer here as well. Come on. But yeah, I'm trying to think of latest. The latest Donghua news. If you consider, I guess, Arknight's second season was announced. That has a mix of Chinese and Japanese production, so I guess you could consider that a Donghua. But yeah, you had Jigoku Raku here. This is another anime that was announced or shown off in the Jump Festa. So this will be airing quite soon, in spring. This manga series also ended I think last year. This is handled by Mappa. I actually didn't. They have so much anime coming out from Mappa. It's kind of surprising. But yeah, this series is actually. I imagine it'll be quite popular. I think it'll look quite good. It's got a nice touch to it. I think it's interesting. This series. It's probably one of the things I might give a watch. But I can't say I like the main character too much. But it'll be definitely one that I might give a watch. From all the ones I covered so far, it's probably the one I'll probably give a watch the most. But yeah, I like the vibrant colors this has. But it's Mappa, so their animation is really makes the series better than it actually is. Actually, okay, this is actually quite a long trailer, so it's probably gonna be. This is probably animation for the series already, because sometimes when you make a PV, they actually just make a PV. They're not using animation from the actual series. This is probably from the actual series, which is quite promising because this looked quite good. Okay, let's go back. Next we have Undead Unluck. Why is he not including the trailers? Come on. That just gives me extra stuff to do. Okay, I'll just go to the official website. Come on. Okay. Where's the trailer? Yeah, there's the trailer. Okay. So yeah, this is the trailer of Undead Unluck. We had this was announced I think this last few months. The anime for this series. Uh, it's one of the new titles from Weekly Shonen Jump. So it's about this girl and she wants to kill herself because she's really unlucky. She's the unluck part of it, and this guy is the undead. He's basically he can't die, and so he gets close to her, and because he gets close to her, he dies a lot because she's very unlucky. So she kills people who get close to her. So it has that sort of plot. It's about this duo that's quite interesting together. So as you can see, it's quite bloody. It's by David Production, I think, one of the better animation studios, and the animation looked quite good here. It's coming out next year. Yeah, these are all from the first chapter, so I think this is probably animation from the anime already, and not just made up for the PV. So this is an interesting series. The main character may turn off some people because it's kind of he sexually harasses the girl quite a bit. But otherwise, I find it alright for the most part. It's quite fun. The actions, the powers are quite interesting, um, and in general, it's got an interesting plot. And it's probably not going to be a too long a manga series. I think it has around 12 volumes so far, and the anime might be 24 episodes long, so that should cover quite a bit down as well. So this is an anime I'm kind of looking forward to watching, at least some part of it. So we have another anime announcement from Jump Festa, which is for this series here. I don't remember its name. It's called Mission Yozakura Family. So yeah, let's just go on Famitsu. Okay, yeah. So this is also from Weekly Shonen Jump, and they had a TV anime and adaptation announced for by Silverlink for next no for 2024, not next year. So it's taken a while for this to come, and this is basically a drawing from the author to commemorate. And this is the main character. His name is Taiyo, and this is the family, the Yozakura family, and this is the main female character. These are all her. This is her family basically. It's an interesting series. I think it's kind of like got a romance touch to it alongside the action. So it's got a it's a bit. It reminds me a bit of Reborn, the other, but obviously it's got less comedy than that. It's more action packed, I think. It's it's an alright series. Obviously, it'll take a long while to be fully made, so we'll see in a year and a half basically what at what point it gets to. So now we have actually this was announced as well under the new series. This isn't from Jump. It's Megami no Taiwo, I think that's the name of the series. It's actually a fireman series. It's about this boy. And it's kind of like a coming of age story, and and basically his family I think dies in a fire, and he wants to become a fireman. And this is basically his story. Getting out of this. So it's not really a proper trailer that we got, but this is kind of an interesting series to be adapted because this series is actually from the 90s, so it's actually quite an old series. So it's getting this anime now after so many years. So it's kind of a definitely something. So it was definitely something that was quite shocking to me actually to see adapted now. But yeah, it's got an interesting storyline. It's this coming of age story about this guy, and there's some romance involved as well. So it's an interesting story. Definitely one that's worth watching. There's so many news. Oh my god. I think that's the end of most anime news recently. Um, that stuff from the season. Nope. 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 That's not it as well. Nope. I think that was it for recent anime announcements. Let me just check Anime News Network for. Ah, I think that was. They didn't cover this. Let me just. They didn't post this. Let me just show this. So this is another Jump series as well. It's called Mashley, and it's kind of like a rip-off of Harry Potter and One Punch Man. So we have the main character. He's really into building his body, getting muscle, and that's because he can't use magic. Um, but he's really OP because his physical power is basically as absurd as it gets. It's kind of like Saitama. But yeah, and he's in this world where he's kind of a weird person because he can't use magic, and this is a magic world. That's kind of the Harry Potter. It has this Harry Potter style. It definitely feels like a ripped off Harry Potter. And then they added this comedic Mob Psycho, One Punch Man style to it. But yeah, it's a reasonably fun series. I wouldn't say it's definitely my favorite or in any way, basically. But it's kind of a funny series with action, and the main character is so overpowered, so it has some sort of, and he's basically beating everyone's ass. They have quite thin legs, I just noticed. But yeah, I don't really enjoy this series that much, but it's coming out basically soonish, 2002, so in April, in spring, and it's definitely something I think worth giving a try. It's the way A1 Pictures as well. Yeah, this will be definitely something I might give a watch, even if it's not one of my favorites. Oh, okay, so it's the sequel. It's not the original manga that's getting the anime. Oh, that's kind of a bummer. Okay, I didn't realize that. So I should have read the news more. Just look at the trailer. But yeah, thank you for that. But yeah, I'm just on Weibo now, but let me just let me go on Bilibili's channel and see if they got anything new there. Mm, nope, that's not new. They're just announcing a lot of views target goals. They reached 5 billion, 500 million, I think now. No, it's 50, 100 million. So yeah, you have yeah, Bilibili released Free Body Problem anime recently, Donghua, and I don't know if it's been doing that hot. Its rating I think was 7.2, which is not really that good. But yeah, it's getting quite a bit of views. This one's also doing quite well in the view department compared to their other titles. Yeah, there's not been many news. Usually Donghua news come out all at the same time in the event. And there's no like Western news source for Chinese anime yet, Chinese or Donghua. So it's kind of annoying. I have to go look for Weibo stuff, and my Chinese is not perfect to understand all of this. So sometimes I struggle and miss up some information. But yeah, the free body problem, yeah, covered. What's coming out? Let me just BC Animation if they got anything on their official channel. Oh yeah, that's just a PV. Will Eternal. Oh yeah, Crunchyroll. Yeah, it's going on Crunchyroll. Wow. All right. Yeah, BC Animation. I have a video coming up on Chinese studios, and so I'm touching on a lot of different studios and basically stuff they did, how they basically got together, their main works, and kind of touching on what they're kind of, if they're good, what their main abilities and stuff. So that will be quite interesting to do as well. I'm looking forward to getting that video out. It's a bit of a more difficult video to do because it involves quite a bit of research, because I'm really talking about every studio's like background, their financing, how they came together, and BC is one of the ones that are one of the older studios in China, and they have done quite a bit of stuff, even though they kind of changed throughout the years. So they haven't really kept together everything, and because you have a lot of studios that began like as independent studios, so when they got financing and they became official studios, so they kind of disowned a lot of their older works, and that's why some of these works are not kind of officially under their list, under the website as theirs. But it's interesting. There's a lot of cool stuff. I think that video will be quite interesting to see. But yeah, think I didn't prepare like for the Donghua news. That's why I can't cover it that much. So because I need to translate, local, gather all those news, because I can read Japanese quite well. I can gather the Japanese news quite easily. That doesn't take too much effort. But for the Chinese one, there's a lot of looking around because it's not as widely covered. But yeah, it's I hope I'll probably do a video or another stream for Donghua news basically. But yeah, sorry about that. Kind of don't have all those news on me at the moment, and for the Chinese stuff I really need to like look for them, because you need to really look in the Chinese websites, whilst in Japanese is much easier for me to access because I can read Japanese quite well, and I also understand it quite well as well, so it's much easier to gather all the information. Obviously news sites in English also give a lot of information on anime as well, and not really on Chinese stuff. But yeah, so we've been live for 30 minutes. I might just go over some of the predictions now that I made, because I made quite a few prediction videos over the last 1 year and a half that I've been making videos and articles, but I don't call them prediction videos because I'm not sure that's viable. So let me just go to my channel now. Oh, oh. Okay, my channel here, and just look at my videos. And so yeah, there's a lot of videos here that are prediction videos, but they're not really called prediction videos. So the first prediction video that I really made was this one: 5 isekai that should be animated. Let me just go over that video and see how I did, basically, if I got them right. Were these titles all animated? Basically the first one we had this title. Let me just pause here. This title I expected to be animated, because it's actually quite popular, and both in Japan, where its manga actually has been remade, and this is the new manga version. It's been doing quite well in the sales, and it also has quite a lot of views in Shosetsuka Ninaro, the website. a web novel sharing website. So it's a very popular novel. So that's why I expected it to be animated. This was obviously only a year and so ago, May from 2021. It still will probably be animated, but at the moment it's not being animated yet, so it's a bummer for me there. So let's just jump to the next one. The next one is reincarnated as a sword. This one has actually been animated, and the anime is actually currently airing, I think, or it's just finished airing. I don't know. This one was kind of a easy tick. I think it was obvious this was going to get animated. It's quite popular. It sells really well, and it's kind of a weird gimmick as well that Isekai hadn't explored yet. So it's kind of the first one to really go into this crazy realm. I think we have the vending machine Isekai as well coming up soonish, and that will be very weird because it is vending machines are big in Japan, but it's very weird to understand why people might love vending machines so much in the West, where vending machines are actually not really that big. Well, it's not. You don't see vending machines that often in the UK, where I'm currently living. But in Japan, it's kind of a whole lot. And they really love their convenience there and their and kind of not having to interact with people for stuff. So yeah, this was a big. It's a pat on the back for me. I got this one right. This prediction. Uh, this one. Uh, where's the next one? Loner Life in Another World. Okay, this is actually wrong if I would be right. This is the other one. I think this has its anime announced. Let me. No, it hasn't had an anime announced yet. Surprisingly so, because so that's one that I got wrong so far. It's not being materialized yet. But yeah, this is a very popular comedy isekai where this main character is actually quite. He's not that overpowered. He's quite intelligent, and he kind of hates his classmates, or at least doesn't even remember their names. So it's a it's kind of but you the girls kind of start getting attached to him because he's kind of the only one that helps them. Um, and his powers are all kind of weird powers, so he has to make do and make something work with them. And so it's interesting in that way, but it's kind of strange that it hasn't had an anime yet announced. Will probably come soon enough. So that's a wrong one for me so far. So we have the next one is Let This Grieving Soul Retire. Who is the weakling who leads the strongest party? I don't think this had an anime announced yet, but it definitely will by quite soonish. I put it in here, but it's actually quite a new novel, so it's kind of it was a dangerous pick. But I'm sure it'll be animated at some point. It's too popular. It's kind of got a different type of story. It's not an isekai actually because he's not from another world. He's actually the main character is just someone in that world, but it has those sort of isekai-ish elements, which basically means it has that sort of Dragon Quest kind of feel world with the demons and hunting. It's kind of like an RPG, a Japanese RPG, and he has a guild and he's kind of the master of the guild, but he's people think he's OP, but he's kind of actually a coward. But yeah, it's oh, I definitely think. Oh, just looking at the comment now. Sorry, sometimes I don't pay attention to the chat. But yeah, I definitely think Donghua will become more popular. Moving on from this, I definitely think Donghua will become more popular for foreign audiences. It's more a question of kind of the stream channels that the Chinese companies use to kind of showcase their work to foreign audiences. At the moment, you have Bilibili using YouTube. You have Tencent doesn't really do much to actually show its works to foreign audiences. They have their WeTV thing, but it's kind of a bit weird to use, and I think a lot of the audiences for that they actually tapping into are just Chinese diaspora from outside China, basically people from China that don't live in China. Uh, Basically, Chinese Americans, Chinese British people, Chinese living basically outside of China. That feels like what Tencent does is basically appeal to that group with WeTV and those sort of things. Bilibili with their YouTube channel, I think, covers a bit more, and obviously you had iQIYI. They have their own service as well, but also appeals mainly to Chinese abroad, basically, like Tencent. So I think they're definitely not doing. I think it's these companies are not doing the think. I think the problem they have is that they are kind of, instead of using the channels that you have there to distribute animated products, like you could use Crunchyroll. It's like Bilibili, when you show those series, there Bilibili series going on Netflix, going on Crunchyroll, whatever, like Modal Zushi or Heaven's. Oh, why can't I remember the name of the series now? The King's Avatar and that lot. Those series are really good, and when foreign audiences see those titles, they actually really like them. So it's whether you can get those titles to show up for people, basically. And I don't think they do a great job at that at the moment, but hopefully they learn from that, because Tencent has a big title coming up, Blade of the Guardians, which has a lot of hype. I mean, they kind of failed using the hype for Dragon's Raja. The animation is really good for that title, and it's kind of really, and it should be really more popular than it actually is, and sadly it isn't. Because it's just not showing up in people's faces on Crunchyroll, on Netflix, those sort of stream channels that people in the West use. But if it was available in good English, because you find a lot of subs for these titles are actually quite terrible English. That's why I think for Tencent, I think they just need to maybe use the sort of leverage they have, because they're a big company. They have a lot of money. Maybe spend a bit more trying to get those series to show for foreign audiences. It just seems that they don't care about foreign audiences at this point, which is fair enough. I mean, China is a big market, and it makes you seem that, yeah, but at some point you might just think you could tap into other markets as well. That's what I think Tencent to do. I think Bilibili might needs it maybe to do more partnerships with Crunchyroll, because Bilibili's series are kind of more anime-like, because that's where I grew out from. Bilibili basically grew out from AC Fun, which is basically a forum website that was for anime comic fans, and that's basically where Bilibili grew out from. And they kind of became big, exploring that sort of Japanese fan base for anime and stuff. So I think Bilibili, who already actually produces quite a bit of Japanese anime, they you see them in quite a bit of in Japanese animes showing up as one of the producers. Maybe Bilibili should try to tap in more of those channels to for animated products like Netflix for foreign audiences, or build their own, basically, which YouTube is just a platform they're borrowing. Maybe they should really make a platform of their own, or in partnership with Crunchyroll or something. That might work. But yeah, I think the series are really good, and they're becoming better every year, and I'm really, that's why I like covering Donghua, because I think there's just something else there. I think I was just being too reliant on Japanese stuff. It's nice to see stuff from other countries that are equally good. Um, I guess it's kind of like an edge, a competition there to, because the amount works that China can produce. China is a much bigger country than Japan, so obviously it will produce a lot more animation than Japan. At the moment, it's the animation is still just getting its roots in the ground. You have a lot of the studios animating these series in China. They're kind of young. They're less than 10 years young, usually less than 5. In some cases. So these studios are quite young and they're getting better at doing these series. So yeah, I think there's a big potential there, but it's whether these these companies actually realize that foreign audiences are important as well. It's about getting those series to show up to people in the decent quality of subs, because people watch the series if they can. You've seen the great, the King's Avatar, Heaven, Wo Dao Zushi. I completely forget the the English name. I think the founder of Diabolism is English, but yeah, these titles are good. And recently you have Link Click. I think it was. That was also really popular, and that came into Netflix, I believe. Was it Netflix? And that was very popular. It's very highly rated in my anime list, so you can see these titles are really good and they're showing up there. And you also have I don't know, the series where the guy is quite OP, which is like Psyche. I forget the name of it as well, but it was also a really popular title. So it's about getting these titles to foreign audiences. Really, it's that's the main challenge I think people have. But yeah, there's not much else to it. The quality is there. It's just they really should work on how to get those titles into the viewers, basically. Are the reasonable subs? Quality subs are the big aspect there, because it's kind of hard watching some Donghua when the quality of the subs are so terrible. Bilibili has done a lot to get better subs for their stuff, even though they're not really charging that much for it. So it's interesting. I think Bilibili is definitely ahead of Tencent on the others, but I kind of hope that they actually try to partner with Crunchyroll, maybe form their own platform instead. Because I really like their titles. I'm really enjoying Blood and Heart at the moment. I'm enjoying some other titles as well. I can't remember the series' name at the moment. I don't know why. The 3000 Years one as well. That one I'm quite enjoying at the moment as well. But yeah, I haven't had a lot of time to watch recently, so these are the two titles from Chinese series that I'm currently watching. But yeah, the subs really need to be better for Tencent and the others. For Bilibili, it's much better already. But yeah, let's move. That was kind of a big tangent. But yeah, let's get back to this prediction game. So yeah, this series should get an anime soon enough. But yeah, sadly for me, it didn't get one yet. So some honorable mentions. This is one of the titles I most want to see animated, because it's very relaxing and it's actually really fun. But sadly, it's not being animated yet. And this other one is just another one that I think will definitely be animated at some point. Both of them will, I think. But this one is too young, too new. I think it only has a few volumes so far. That's why it hasn't. This one, I actually got this completely right. It's got an anime. It's already aired. I think it was earlier this year. I don't think it's getting a second season. The animation was quite terrible. So, sadly for me, this one got an anime, but it was not good enough. Which is usually the case for isekai anime at the moment. They're usually quite terrible in the animation department. So out of this video, I think 2 of them got animated for me. So I got 2 out of 5. Let's see, this one didn't, this one did. So yeah, it's 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5 for this one. Not bad at all. So let's just go back. The other prediction video I did. This one. This was a prediction video actually. I didn't name it as such, but it was. So yeah, we had. I covered a lot of light novels in this was my first video on light novels. I just wanted to have a try because I actually really like light novels. I don't read as many as I used to. Not just light novels. I actually read a lot of Chinese web novels, Korean web novels as well. I don't read as many as I do now as I did because I have much less time to do stuff nowadays. But yeah, I just wanted to do this video because it was, and I just wanted to see how people would react to it. It didn't do too great, but it was a fun video to make, and I just went over some of the hotline novels at the time. And Spy Classroom is one of the hottest at that time. Its anime is coming up in January, I believe. So this will be quite an interesting series to see because it's very much the old style of light novel before we had that explosion of isekai, and it's actually a title I actually quite enjoyed reading. This one I read the first 2 volumes. It's not bad at all. I think the first season of the anime should cover 2 to 3 volumes max, and it'll be interesting to see. I like the main character and I like the female characters. Not all of them. Some of them are quite interesting. The abilities they have. But yeah, yeah, that's the case for all of them. But yeah, this one got animated. This one, I believe, this one had an anime announcement recently. I think. This one is kind of like a sweet comedy romance. Basically, you have this cute girl falling, and this cute girl. She's the cutest girl in the school. That's usually the case. And then you have this boy who lives by himself, and she basically accepts taking care of him. Uh, that's the angel part, and she's spoiling him because she's his neighbor basically as well, and she accepts, like, she cleans his house and that stuff, and that's kind of spoiling him, and then they fall in love and that sort of thing. So it's a very sweet romance. It's not very interesting though. And then this one had an anime announced as well, so that's 3 out of 3 at the moment. This is kind of a harem novel. Basically, he's a demon. Is this the right comment? The right? Yeah, I think he's a basically this guy who basically, I don't know if he dies. I'm trying to remember exactly what happens. I read three or volumes quite a while ago. Basically, he dies or something, and he basically wakes up many years many years have passed. I don't think he dies. I think he just gets put into sleep or something. And he basically makes this girl his vampire because she kind of dies. I hope this is the right series I'm talking about. I hope it's not the wrong one. But yeah, this series is getting an anime. I think it's being announced this year, and it's gonna probably air this coming year, basically. But yeah, so that's 3 out of 3 for me, and this one also had its anime announced this year, I think recently as well, and it's one of the better novels. Let me just check if it's had its anime actually. Maybe it hasn't. No, no, it had an anime announcement. Yeah, this year. So yeah, this series was one of the hot line novels coming out of that year, and it's selling reasonably well, but it was quite critically acclaimed. That's why I think it was kind of basically, I think it was the top series at Kono Ranobe Gasugoi. So I read some of it. It reads more like a fantasy western book, um, which is a bit different from the usual light novel that has a bit more kind of simple writing. It's not bad. It's just it's a bit more complex, the reading, and and it tries to be more intricate with everything, which, I mean, it's alright, but then again, I could just read a Western novel instead. Okay, it's alright. Then we have another one that I've had an anime announcement as well this year, so I've been really on a streak with the light novels. They're much easier to hit actually, because there's actually less popular light novels nowadays, if they're not isekai, which I, for this video, I excluded isekai basically. So Chitoseku wa Haramune bin no Naka. This is a romance comedy, but it's a bit of a twist because the main character is actually really popular in this case, and he's in this club where he has to basically help people that are kind of loners and stuff. So it's kind of like a twist in the usual kind of cliche that in these stories, and he's a fun main character. He's a fun main character, and the female characters are all right as well. So this is actually a really good light novel. I really should get back to it because I read the first 2 volumes, I think, and I really should get back to read more of it because it's available in English by Yen Press, I think. So it's a really good read. This one. You don't see many good romance comedy light novels anymore, and this is definitely kind of an exception in this day and age. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. Rakuen Noise. This one hasn't had an anime announcement, but it's actually I think it has 6 volumes by now. When I actually made this video, I had 2 volumes, so it's one I definitely didn't think would probably get an anime at that point. But it's an interesting title. I think it's kind of similar to Bocchi the Rock, that's making quite success at the moment, which I'm actually really happy with. Bocchi the Rock, the current ongoing rock series. This is kind of similar to that, but the main character is cross-dressing. He's a man and he's cross-dressing as a girl, and he has this band, and there's all sort of hijinks. So it has a romance element, but it's about music and rock, and so yeah, it's a fun title. It's a fun light novel. It's kind of a one that I definitely still think will be animated sometime in the future. And then you have this one, which I'm kind of not sure if it had an anime announced or not. I think it did, but let me just check what else. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it didn't. Maybe I'm just. No, it didn't. No, it did not. No, it didn't. It didn't receive an anime, not yet. So that's the second one that I put in this video that didn't get an anime so far. But yeah, that's alright. I think it's still probably going to get one. It's still quite a new title. But yeah, I'm quite confident it will get one. It's kind of a romance comedy series. She's a tsundere type character. It's a very kind of throwback like romance comedy. Then we go to the last one. This actually has an anime announcement. It's only on its 4th volume, so it's a very quick anime. This is kind of No Game No Life, so it's about a human playing against gods. She's actually a god that's been kind of underground for many years, and she basically works together with the main characters to fight against the gods. So it's an interesting work. I'm definitely looking forward to this one. It's got very nice character designs. The main character is very interesting. It's like No Game No Life, but I think better, because No Game No Life is a bit cringe at times. And that was it for this video. Then let me get another. Well, this was another prediction video, and this one I don't even need to go through all of them because this one has an anime upcoming, The Dangers in My Heart. Dangers No, it's the anime, man. So this is the anime for that. Let me just get the trailer. There's the trailer. So that's the anime for that. It's so yeah, I bet on this getting an anime. At that point, they only had like a few volumes. Happy with this sweetly. It's very sweet series. Then obviously you have this one, which is the other one, Shangri-La Frontier. Okay, put the video. So this is the other. This is kind of a VR game playing series. So it's kind of that's not a very good animation. Again, this is a PV. Yeah. So basically, the main character is this. He's playing, and this is his character in the game. He's not. He's not imprisoned in the game, you know, anything. There's nothing of that sort of storyline here. It's just a guy playing a game, and obviously he has his friends, and he wants to do well in the game, and all sorts of things. And the game is quite complex. It has a lot of things. I don't know if they will add any element of like the game is actually another world thing. It might, but we don't know yet. But yeah, this is a female character. She's not one of the main characters. This is another one, but this is actually a guy who plays as a female. And then you have the big soldier that we saw in the start of the video. That's actually a girl playing as the man. But yeah, this is all from the first few chapters, so I'm sure this is probably pre-made. So they're saying they're making a game out of this as well, which is kind of interesting. Or maybe not that interesting, but yeah, the animation looks okay-ish. I don't like the backgrounds look a bit too simple, but this is a lot of boss fighting in this series. It's not very complex, the plot. It's just a lot of them. It's a lot about him and his friends basically getting into boss fights and fighting, and he dies a lot because he's not OP, but he's just a good player basically, and he's fighting and defeating these bosses. So it's not a very complex story, but that's kind of the best for this sort of thing. It doesn't try to be too complex. It's more about the basically the fighting, the action. But yeah, this is kind of a very long trailer. I didn't realize it was 3 minutes long, 4 minutes long. But yeah, this is, when's this video? From July. Wow. This is probably coming spring, summer probably. But yeah, this is a title that I'll probably watch actually. It's not. Well, let me, I just had a drink, sorry. So yeah, let's just close this now. But yeah, this is an interesting series. I got it right. I was gonna get an anime. Not that it was too tough actually, because it was popular. And that's it. It was popular, trending. That's what anime are nowadays. They just make what's trending. And then we have this one that has an anime, and I think it's coming. I think it's coming. I think it's definitely coming next year, but I was just trying to confirm now the exact date. Oh no, got the wrong. Maybe it doesn't have a trailer yet. Maybe it doesn't yet. No, it doesn't have a trailer yet. But yeah, this this series, Frere and Beyond Journey's End, it's an anime being announced. I believe it's for next year as well, but it has no PV or anything. It's a lot. It's kind of got the isekai setting, but it's kind of after the adventure. So that's kind of why Beyond Journey's End. The hero, the blue-haired guy, basically has died. I think the dwarf is maybe still alive. The priest is kind of dying as well. So you have the elf that basically lives a lot longer than everyone. She's basically still like her old self. Basically, she looks like this, and she's basically journeying around and doing whatever stuff. It's it's not that deep, but it's kind of very relaxing, and it was really popular. So that's kind of how I made this. But yeah, this one 3 out of 3 for me. So I got all these series right for animes, and they all got animes, and they're all coming out next year. So hooray for me! Pat in the back. Um, I don't know if I made any other real predictions. I made this video about Donghua, but sadly I don't think any of them have actually been animated yet. The Planet Walks Alone, really great manhwa series that I think would make a great Donghua. It might be animated now because Yoyao basically the publisher of this, has been bought by Bilibili, and this series is actually quite short. It's complete already, so they might make an anime of it if they want, because it was actually a really popular title. But they might also just make a TV drama of some kind, because it would work well as a TV drama as well, because it's kind of that sort of series that it's not really that fantastical, so a drama could actually do quite well for it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this sort of adaptation for this. So here we have Ask the EGG Brazil's Wood, which this is kind of interesting as well, because it's also for Yo Yao Chi, like The Planet Walks Alone, and it's also one of their bigger titles. So I'm really sure Bilibili will want to get some sort of IP started for this with an anime of some kind, because this is actually quite fantastical, sci-fi. So I'm definitely sure this will get an anime at some point. It's just a problem at the end. As you can see, the art is really great, but the problem is that it might take a while. But hopefully it doesn't. It wasn't announced in this year's Bilibili event. There was a lot of good stuff at this year's Bilibili event, but this wasn't one of the things announced there. And then you have Call of the Animals, which is kind of a stab in the dark actually, because Kwaikan, this is a Kwaikan series. It's actually on hiatus at the moment. Kwaikan hasn't had many push for animations yet for their series, even though I think they probably have the best lineup when it comes to manhwa. And they also obviously their market share for manhwa is, they have the biggest market share, even though they are the kind of one of the last ones to come to the market. So yeah, this series is very good, and it would be really great to see it animated. That's just, it's kind of more hopeful. I think this video was a lot more hopeful, but there was obviously some underlying reasoning as well. Most of these three series are actually really popular, and the first two, Bilibili, is likely to pursue some sort of IP building. For the third one, I think Kwaikan would definitely look for a series like this to get to animate, if they actually start pursuing that multimedia project for their main big titles, because this is one of their big titles. But you never know. It could also just end up as a drama. I wouldn't mind as well, but yeah, there's nothing there. And then the other video that kind of counts as a prediction, it's my webtoon videos. My webtoon video, even though these two videos, I think they're my last two predictions videos recently. Webtoons, you have Solo Leveling. Solo Leveling was, when this video came out, Solo Leveling had already had its anime announced. I recorded it previously to that, but that's why I added an amendment basically saying I actually recorded this before that. But I was sure this was gonna get an anime, Solo Leveling. It's too popular to not get an anime. But I was surprised at the studio. I was surprised that it's not actually a great staff for the studio. So that was a bit disappointing. But yeah, so that one I got right, but I kind of don't want to pat myself on the back because I did it after. You have next the legendary Moonlight Sculptor. This is one of the most popular web novels in Korea. It's a VR MMO kind of light novel. It's not like getting trapped in the game. It's just him playing the game to make money, and the game is actually quite complex and all that sort of things. And he meets his girlfriend, this girl, there, and it's kind of very interesting. It's kind of a lot of drama to it. So, but this novel ended. I think it's got 57 volumes. It's a very long series in Korea. So very interesting, very good. But an anime for it has not been announced, so I was wrong. Or maybe I'll just have to wait a bit longer. But I'm losing hope because this series ended, so the longer time goes, I think the less chance it might get to be animated. Next one, Kisswood. This is a real big stab on the dark. It was a lot more hopeful than than actually a prediction with any real basing. I just really like this webtoon. It's probably the best I've ever read. Um, it's got this environmentalist message. Basically, this old man keeps a lot of plants, but one day it's burnt down and he's in a coma, and and he wakes up in this other kind of dystopian world that he tries to escape from. So it's got a really clear message. I think this is a very good story. I think anyone that likes webtoons should give this one a go. But it's not very popular. It's around 40 to 30 chapters long, which for me makes me think this is unlikely to ever be animated, since it ended I think close to at least 8 years ago. So it's very unlikely to be animated, but sadly I still hope for it. So next one we had Bastard. I had Bastard as my last pick for a series that might be animated. This is, I think, less so hopeful. I think it has a bit of grounding on it as well. It's a popular title. It's popular in the West as well. Yeah, but obviously it ended a few years ago. And I think this is actually a much better fit as instead of an anime, but instead of an anime, a drama actually. I think a Korean drama would do this series quite well. And I'm surprised it hasn't had one yet, because a lot of Korean dramas tap into this horror serial killer type, especially when they're from this channel called OCN. So very interesting that this hasn't been dramatized yet. But I think an anime is less likely. I think there was some hope on my part there. I think a drama is way more likely than an anime for this. So next we had Young B. Young B is an interesting title because I actually really love Young B. It's one of my favorite manhwa. I think that's how you say it. not great a Korean. Um, so it's this martial arts wuxia inspired Mulan wuxia kind of manhwa, and it's pretty good, but it's very old. I think it started in the 90s. I think it ended in the early 2000s, and it had a sequel in the middle 2000s. Then it had a webtoon sequel, which is Gosu, and that was ended quite recently. I think a few years ago. I think it ended. So it's kind of popular. It's kind of popular. I used in this video the trailer for the mobile game. So it has a mobile game. It has some multimedia projects. It hasn't had any animation yet, but I think, look, they could easily make. They could easily, I think, use this to make an anime. And one thing that actually made me feel a lot more confident about Korean series getting animated is the recent that was that even made me think about making another video about this sort of manhwa that I want to see animated. Was the recent animation of Lukeism. Lukeism was actually one of the series I was kind of pondering over to include in this video, which is I was very excited to see actually get animated, and I think it came out on Netflix a few weeks ago. I'm talking about this, by the way, Lukeism. Let me put on Netflix. Okay, I don't have Netflix, but see, this coming out like a few weeks ago was very. When this was actually announced, I was like, this, wow! I was really excited because, and then I actually thought up of a new video to do for like this one, basically manhwa that I want to see animated. Um, I haven't made that video. Obviously, it hasn't come out, but it's a promising thing because this is actually animated by Studio Mir, I think. So it's a Korean animation studio as well. So it's not Japanese in any sense. So it's very interesting. This was a very interesting project because Lukeism actually has a drama as well. It has a drama. It has a drama adaptation. As you can see, it has a drama adaptation. I think it's Chinese actually, not even Korean. It's Chinese, not Korean. But they made an animated version of it, which is quite interesting. So I think Korean stuff is definitely going to become a lot more prominent to see. Korean series will definitely have more chances to be animated, especially if this is a success. Because you have Tower of God coming out, the second season. Obviously, that's mainly a Japanese animation project instead of a Korean one, but it's a Korean series, so and obviously you're gonna have other Korean projects by Netflix and other sites. I wonder if Crunchyroll will start tapping into more Korean works. Obviously, they did the first batch with Tower of God, God of High School, and obviously Noblesse. Noblesse was a failure. God of High School probably was alright. Tower of God was definitely the big success there. But yeah, I wonder if they'll tap into more. They haven't shown anything else after that, I believe. But Netflix doing this, and I definitely want to see more Korean series getting animated because I have quite a few that I actually really like and I wanted to see animated. But what those series are, I will hold back for now because I might have another video of webtoons that I want to see animated coming out. Not not in probably not in the probably not soon. It'll probably take a while, and I'll have to think if it's even viable to actually make one. But we'll see. So yeah, then I did this Chinese web novels that I want to see animated, which disappointed me to some extent because I was actually struggled to make this video because I kind of struggled to think about what to put when I was talking about the series. because obviously it's just text, so it's kind of hard to put stuff in for you to see. And I didn't want to just put text, so we put like some sort of images. But yeah, so yeah, we have first. I tried to cover also a variety of genres when talking about this. So we had Conquest, which when I make this video, I thought was a bit of hope, but now I think it has a lot more backing because you had I believe uh, from the same author you had let me see, I think I scroll down his other works. Law of the Devil, yeah, that's one of his other works that's getting animated. I think another one is actually getting animated as well. Is it? I'm not sure. I think it was announced in a recent event. But yeah, his name, this author's name is Dancing, or Tiao Wu in Chinese. Um, so yeah, he's one of the kind of non-writers in Chinese, and his works are usually of good quality, I think. So yeah, you have Conquest is one of his works I actually enjoy because it's kind of this Western fantasy, as a good comedy as well, uh, which is usually because you have a lot of typically Western or Eastern fantasy. It's kind of harder to see good Western fantasy in Chinese novels, but I think this is a good, even if quite cliche, it taps into a lot of Western fantasy kind of tropes. It's still, I think it's still a really interesting work. I think it's definitely one people should give a go, or should read the novel. I think read the novel. I think it's a good novel. I don't know if it's fully translated, probably not, but it's an interesting title, and I think it's definitely one worth reading. Let me just take another sip of my drink. And I'll have a look now. I need to have a look for the author, Tiao Wu. I'm pretty sure there was another anime announcement for him, for his works, but I can't be sure. But yeah, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Okay, so here we have the main character, the author of Conquest, basically. That's him there. So yeah, he's written quite a few novels. That's him again. So yeah, he's written quite a few novels over the years, and this is basically all of them. Going through them. Emofaze, that's Law of the Devil, basically. I think that's one of his most popular. It's the one that's getting an anime adaptation or donghua adaptation. I just prefer saying anime. I think it's just something that's just within my brain for any animation stuff. But yeah, Gate of Revelation was his latest one, and he's finished that I think a few years ago, and he hasn't done anything since. But yeah, I was surprised nothing else was announced. And it doesn't say anything. Disappointing. Maybe I was confused. So the next one is The Outcast. Um, this is There was a bit of hopefulness, but it's actually not that impossible because the author of this, Mao Ni, most of his other novels have received adaptations. We had uh, what was it called? The Way of Choices. That has Zetianji. That has 5 animated seasons so far, and you have. It's also called Fighter of the Destiny as well, but you also have I forget the name now. Night, whatever. Forget. Let me see if I write it here. Yeah, it's Mao Ni, but where's his other work? So we had yeah, the Nightfall. Yeah, Nightfall. Nightfall has a drama adaptation. The Path Towards Heaven was actually announced in the Bilibili event, an animation for it. That's his most recent work. ZTNG has many anime seasons. Joy of Life has a drama. JTNG has drama as well. This has a drama. This has an anime announced, or donghua announced. So we have 4 of his works. Obviously, just 2 are animated. This will be animated, but the others have dramas, and all 3 of them have dramas. Not yet for this one. The Outcast. So basically, the Outcast is very likely to get some sort of thing when they look towards it. It's sci-fi, so it's very different from these other works. These are Eastern fantasy. This is sci-fi, but it's still a really interesting work. I think this one. You see the description talking about Immanuel Kant. So Maoni's writing style is definitely one of the ones I think people should read. I think his writing style is really interesting. I think he's definitely one of the better writers when he calls these things. So next we have Little Tyrant Doesn't Want to Be Met with a Bad End. This is a recent novel. The other 2 are quite old. This is actually ended quite recently, but this is also one that it's quite popular, and it has this Japanese style to it because it's within a platform. I can't remember it from the top of my head. Just see if I say Seaway Mao, yeah. It's very much influenced by Japanese kind of works, this platform. So their works are usually ACG kind of inspired, and this is kind of like that. So its popularity just makes me think Bilibili will definitely not let this one go. The manhwa that you see here, it's actually published by Bilibili as well, so I think Bilibili will definitely animate this, if probably in the next few years. But I think they should probably speed that up because it's not a good idea to let the thing drop in popularity. Even though the manhwa, I think it's kind of what drives the series forward at the moment because the novel's ended. So next we have this other series, which I think it's possible, but there's some hopefulness on my part as well, because this is actually quite a long novel. It's over 5,000 chapters, and it has now a second like not second season, but like a sequel that's also getting more and more chapters as well. But this one is from Chidian, so it'll be probably Tencent that would animate this. I can see it happening because it's actually a really popular title. It's kind of a better version of a record, a better version of record to a better version of records Immortals Records to Immortality, basically a Mortals Record to Immortality. So it's a better version of that series from Bilibili. That's doing quite well. So this one, I think it's much more grounded. The main character is much better. It's less of that kind of fake Aaron kind of stuff. It's very much focused on the main character getting stronger. So it's a much better title, and I think it's not as popular as that title, but it's quite reasonably popular. That makes me think it should get an anime, but it hasn't yet. But this video is also quite recent. It's just a few months recent. This is just a few months, so I'm kind of judging myself a bit too hard on this one. But yeah, none of these have been animated yet, and none of them from here as well. Only Solo Leveling. But yeah, is there any prediction video I could look for? So yeah, I got full marks on this one. Most 5 out of 7 I think in this one. 2 out of 5 in this one. So I'm doing quite well on the prediction department. Now let's just have a look at the Anime Down website. I haven't updated in quite a while because of time constraints. So yeah, I've been making, oh yeah. So yeah, Shy, this manga, had an anime announced recently. So I'll tap myself on the back for this one. So I got that one. No, it's not a prediction, but I think it definitely deserved an anime. So interesting one there. Let's go down a bit. So yeah, most of you probably haven't had that look on the website. I haven't updated it too much in recent times, but yeah, we did usually try to make try to put stuff in use. But it's been tough now with the time. So yeah, where is that? Where is that? Where is that? No, not that one. This video. This is a prediction kind of article that I made. Come on, getting lost here. So this is a prediction article that I made, and I included 5 or 6 titles that I thought would be animated isekai titles. So the first one is getting animated this January. Both of them actually, this one as well. So yeah, that's 2 ticks for me. Not that it was surprising. I think this kind of Yashike isekai is actually quite trendy at the moment, and these two are quite popular as well in Japan. So not a big surprise, but yeah, I predicted these two to get anime eventually, and they both did. So pat myself on the back for that. And then obviously we have this one, The Idea of Sponge Life, which hasn't been animated yet, surprisingly, because it's actually about as popular as campfire cooking. It's less about it's still a very Yashike like, but it has more politics involved, so it has less of a carefree element to it. Yeah, he marries this woman. He moves to another world to marry to this woman, and that kind of sets him off. So yeah, that's one that I didn't get. Skeleton in a World. That's one that I did get right, and they had an anime I think earlier this year. Very bad anime as well. Very bad animation, which is usually the case for isekai. Like I said previously, these are this is by Mappa, so it'll probably have good animation, but this is probably gonna look quite badly. But yeah, yeah, I got this one right. It wasn't too much of a surprise. It's a popular series, uh, but it's kind of disappointing. It was kind of terrible. Next, we have the New Gate, a series that I didn't get right, sadly, because this is actually one of the isekai I actually want to see animated, because it's actually reasonably good, even though I think it kind of drags on a bit. But yeah, you have this is kind of like Overlord, where you have this very strong main character in a game. They were actually trapped in the game, and then he kills the main boss. Everyone's freed, but he isn't. He gets transported to another world, which is basically the game world, but a few years in the future, which means things are a bit different. And the characters he knew, basically he had various servants and people he knew in the game. They all changed, and for them the game is kind of real life, so it has many dimensions I find really interesting. But it hasn't had an anime, and it's been quite a while. At this point I probably wouldn't have included it, but I still hope for one. And then you have one of the most popular series, the Apothecary Diaries, which is kind of like a more female. A lot of the series I cover in my channel are kind of male orientated, which is why my audience seems to be full percent man, or at least that's what YouTube tells me. But this is kind of a series that's more for the female audience. So yeah, you have this girl, and this is not an isekai as well, but it's a web novel, and it came from Shotsuka Ninaro. That's why I kind of included it in here. So this is kind of like a historical series. This girl basically she's her father's an apothecary, and she's basically following in his footsteps until she was basically kind of taken to the king, and then she becomes kind of one of the a resident on the palace, and then you have all sorts of kind of problems there, drama with the king and those sort of things. So, but it's a hugely popular title. Its popularity is kind of out of the scale compared to the others here, which is kind of odd because it hasn't had an anime, even though some of the others have. But some things are a bit weird. So we got one, two, three, and then three not. So it's all right. I think 50%. The others, I still think these two are definitely getting animes. The new Gate, I'm less so confident on nowadays, but I think it deserves it. Um, yeah, so I think that's most of the predictions I did over the years. Um, I don't know if I have anything else to say for at the moment. If so, I might be turning off now. It's been 1 hour and a half, but I will try to stream more often because I actually quite enjoyed this, and we had a few people actually asking questions and contributing. So thank you for the people who did that, and thank you very much for that. Um, so and hopefully next time I can talk more about Donghua. I can talk more about upcoming projects. I can talk more about maybe the anime season, because maybe I'll have a bit more time to watch stuff. Because now in this end of the year kind of business, I have kind of less time than usual. But yeah, so that was it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll leave this stream up as a recorded video for people to watch over, because I did cover anime news and I did talk about different stuff that maybe people will be interested in looking over. But yeah, I'll leave the. But yeah, don't forget the Anime Down website actually exists. Don't forget we have a Twitter as well, even though, as you can see, I struggle to be too active on it. I'm not a big fan of tweet. I'm not a big Twitter guy. But yeah, I post different stuff here. Whenever there's something interesting, I'll usually share it. I'll share the videos as well. So don't forget we have that. Don't forget we have, of course, the YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like if you enjoy our content, and obviously that is it. Well, share our stuff then on Twitter, on social media, on Facebook, on other social media platforms. But yeah, so that was the stream. Next time maybe I'll maybe play a game or something, or maybe talk more about Donghua instead. But yeah, see you